let's get into the second main topic of the evening. For the second main topic, we're actually going to stay with the WSL for this one. More specifically, we're going to talk a lot about Viv Miedema, who is my personal favorite striker in the entire world. So, this main topic I titled, Will Viv Miedema Stay at Arsenal? The main reason why I pose this question is because of this. A story broke earlier this week, or maybe it was also the week before. A French news outlet, whom I don't know a ton about. I'm still kind of learning some of these punditry, some of these news outlets, but a French news outlet called RMC Sports stated that Olympique Lyonnais was in talks to sign star striker Vivianne Miedema, who is currently under contract with Arsenal, as a lot of you probably know, who's currently under contract with Arsenal for another 18 months until the end of the 2021-2022 season. So this sort of begs the question, if you're an Arsenal fan, if you're a Netherlands fan, if you're a fan of Vivianne Miedema, if you're a fan of the WSL in general, is Vivianne Miedema going to leave Arsenal this window? My personal answer to this question is no. She will not leave this particular transfer window. Let me give you a few reasons why. So, RMC published this article. However, they're the only official news outlet that I know that's reporting this particular news. With that, you start to get a little suspicious, because if you're the only singular news outlet that's reporting a story such as big as this, you start to question, like, okay, this is affecting English football. Maybe the BBC would get a hold of it and know. Maybe they got in touch with Miedema's agent and they know. But the fact that bigger outlets are not, or really any other outlets in general, are not reporting on it makes me really, really skeptical. Like I said, if this was really, really serious, I would think that more news outlets would be reporting on this to further reinforce, rather than just one particular news site. So there's reason number one. Reason number two, the context of their claim that they're in talks to sign, or not their claim, the context of their claim that Olympique Lyonnais is in talks to sign Vivianne Miedema is really, really not strong. So let me frame this a little bit. Vivianne Miedema, to me, I would contend, is the world's best striker today. Olympique Lyonnais, I would also contend, is probably one of the world's best squads today. If any story came out in the world of women's football related to either two sides, it would probably be a really big story. The bigger stars you have, the bigger teams you have, the bigger the story is, because it affects the most popularity, draws a lot of eyes. So you'd think that a lot, it would be reported on. It would just be straight up reported on, and more awareness would be around it. Where this was reported on, to me, is really suspicious. Where this was reported on is in the middle of one news site, RMC Sports, in the middle of one article, in the middle of one paragraph, and it was in one sentence. And the worst part about it is that it was on an entirely different player. This particular article in question that this news came from is an article about Olympique Lyonnais signing Caterina Macario, who Olympique Lyonnais signed about a week or two ago. It was just a brief mention in the article. It was like one quick little sentence blurb that said the following. And I want to be careful here, because I am translating this article from French to English. So if you guys get a hold of the article and you see it and it translates to something else, feel free to jump down in the comments and below and correct me. But the article says something like this according to English translation. The winter market of Olympique Lyonnais is not over. According to our information, another player playing in midfield is expected to commit to the 7-time European champion within a week. Discussions are also underway with Dutch Arsenal striker Vivianne Miedema. I have a lot of problems with this quote. Let's start with the first part. According to our information. According to whose information? RMC Sports? Who at RMC Sports knows something? Who is the person that they talk to? Who is the spokesperson for Olympique Lyonnais who talk to? Who is the name of Vivianne Miedema's agent that they talk to? Who is the name of the Arsenal official that they talk to? They don't give any indication as to why they say that discussions are also underway with Dutch Arsenal striker Vivianne Miedema. According to our information, that's To me, that's just weak sauce. That's not a valid source to confirm or deny whether or not something is actually taking place. I think that in order for me to buy that claim and take it seriously, I think if they had said we interviewed a spokesperson from either club or Vivianne Miedema herself or Vivianne Miedema's agent, if they had said any of those things, I think I'd be way more on board with buying into their story. But to me, that's not definitive enough to be convinced that Olympique Lyonnais is actually talking in discussions with Vivianne Miedema to sign her. I am not saying, and I am not trying to bag on RMC Sports as a news outlet. As I said right when the segment started, I know absolutely nothing about them other than they're a French sports website. But the reality is this: that's just not convincing enough. That's not reinforcing enough to actually for me to take that claim seriously. Some of you guys might feel differently, but they just provide no other context or information or proof that that's actually taking place. So that about does it for my second reason. My third reason is that Vivianne Miedema hasn't said anything. She hasn't indicated at all that she's wanted to leave Arsenal. She hasn't given any interviews. She hasn't. There haven't been any articles. She hasn't really even mildly suggested that she wants to leave the club. If any of you have proof otherwise, feel free to jump down in the comments below and let me know your thoughts and let me know what your source is. But she hasn't said anything about leaving the club. She hasn't said that she's unhappy. She hasn't said that she's frustrated. She hasn't said that they haven't given her what she wanted in terms of a contract. She hasn't said any of those things, making me think, why would she want to leave? Does she want to leave at all, really? She just hasn't indicated that she has an interest to leave, so it makes me think that she doesn't want to leave. So that brings us into the fourth reason. Arsenal want Vivianne Miedema back. Who wouldn't want her back? She is one of the world's greatest strikers. I still contend she's the world's greatest striker, but they're not looking to deal her. In fact, Joe Montemurro just gave an interview about a week or two ago that said the following: we're already starting to look at where we're heading with the direction of next year and years to come, referring to Arsenal Football Club. But obviously, Viv will be on top of that list, and we'll do everything we can to make sure Viv remains a part of the group. He said this on January 5th. That was 12 days ago. Arsenal have every full intention of re-signing Vivianne Miedema back to their club in some fashion. With 18 months still in her contract, that's about the time when a lot of clubs like to negotiate with their stars to try and keep them and sign up to a long-term deal. So I have no doubt that Arsenal is going to do everything they can to keep their star striker. Why wouldn't they, right? Reason number 5, it's not that Arsenal are really even playing poorly. Arsenal are in the top 3 of the league, and they're only within a couple points of being at the top of the league. So it's not like they're playing poorly and that they don't have a chance to win in the league at all. If they were at the very bottom of the table and Miedema was like, okay, I kind of want to go play around the rest of the world and win major trophies and play against the toughest competition, that'd be different. But they're still in the top 3. They're contending for a title. I've never met an athlete who's contending for a title wanting to leave that team. If you've got a chance to win a league title, any league title, most of the time you're going to want to stick around. Unless, of course, you're maybe in a smaller market and want to go elsewhere. But even then, you have to have that want to go elsewhere. And Vivianne doesn't seem to have that desire. So, guys, at the end of the day, those are my reasons that I don't think Vivianne Miedema will leave Arsenal, at least not anytime soon. At the end of the day, I'm not saying that there's zero chance that Viv is going to go in this transfer window or even in the next one. Who knows? Maybe next transfer window comes and she's completely changed her mind. Or maybe she's come out and said, yeah, I'd like to leave Arsenal. That's a whole different story. There's always a chance that that will happen. But with all the reasons that I've sort of laid out, those are the indicators for me why I'm picking that Viv Miedema will probably stay at Arsenal. Of course, I am not Vivianne Miedema. I am not her agent. I am not on her team. What have you? Those are just some of the pieces of evidence I've got pointing that would indicate that she would not want to leave and kind of stick it out at Arsenal. So, guys, if there's any Arsenal fans out there, any WSL fans, any Viv Miedema fans, and you worry about her leaving, I would say rest assured for at least a little while. And plus, if anything else, at the end of the day, she's still got 18 months on her contract, so there's always that to fall back onto. But guys, I want to know, what are your thoughts on this whole thing with Vivianne Miedema? Jump down to the comments below and let me know your thoughts. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that little bit of a segment. I'm sorry I went on a bit of a tangent for that one. That was a longer one, but a kind of a ton of fun nonetheless. What fun is women's soccer or football without any transfer window rumors? Of course, me being a United fan, I've heard all the transfer rumors, and I'm sure a lot of you have too as football fans. The transfer rumor carousel just goes round and round and round, and it's always kind of fun to speculate a little bit. So I hope you enjoyed that. And feel free to keep the discussion going down in the comments section. Okay, guys. So that about brings us into our last main topic of the evening.